Good day to all of you. Today we are going to start the managerial economics on online mode. Today is the first class. We will see the definition, features, and basic things in managerial economics. The purpose of the study is there are three things: to understand the fundamental concepts of managerial economics, and to know the role and responsibilities of the manager, and to use the economic concept to understand the business and how to solve the managerial problems. Let us start with that. Actually, the managerial economics is a subject which deals with decision-making tools in business practices. It is a branch of microeconomics which bridges the economic theories with the business practices. Managerial economics is an integral part of economics which allows all the concepts that are useful for business decision making, particularly the business. In easy words, it is an economic discipline dealing with both economic and non-economic concepts which are used in business practices in order to make optimal decision making. There are many other different names are there. One is managerial economics, otherwise it is called business economics. So some people may call it as decision-making economics. Few people will call executive economics. Basically, it is an economic concept which is used in the management, particularly to take the decision in the business. Let's move to the definition. Different authors have defined the term managerial economics in different ways. The following definitions are in practice to define the managerial economics. The first definition by Milton H. Spencer and Louis Siegelman. According to them, the managerial economics is an integration of economic theory with business practices for the purpose of facilitating the decision making and forward planning by the management. So this is the best definition out of the available definition. There are one more definition by Brigman and Pappas. According to them, managerial economics is the application of economic theory and methodology to business administration and business practices. From the above definition, what we can understand is that managerial economics integrates economic theory and business practices. It facilitates the decision-making process in business. It enhances the business practice through forward planning. It is a subject used by the management for the business decisions. It is the application of theory and methodology in business administration. One thing we should note that the managerial economics uses not only the economic concept, but also some selected non-economic concepts which are useful in making a decision in a business. On the whole, we can say managerial economics is a hybrid discipline extracted mainly from economics for business administration and management, along with selective topics from mathematics, statistics, accounts, and operations research, and so on, which are useful for taking the business decision. That is why we used to say managerial economics includes not only the economic concept, but also the non-economic concept. After knowing the definition, now let us move to the features of managerial economics. The managerial economics is an integration of economic theory with business practices. Keeping this particular point in our mind, and we can see the features one by one. The first feature is the managerial economics is practical, realistic, and pragmatic for business. It is a science for business practices in decision-making process. It is both theoretical and practical in content, which helps the decision-making process. It is micro in nature, but it provides room for macroeconomic concepts like national income, accounting, inflation, deflation, and trade cycle, etc. It deals with not only the economic concept, but also the non-economic concept, which are useful in business practices. Considering the technology know-how, external factors of business like environmental impacts, social elements, and political factors and culture, it considers almost all the discipline which are useful in taking the decision. The last feature is the economic implication of other discipline like mathematics, statistics, engineering, accounts, operation research, and psychology, and so on. Many subjects will be included in order to facilitate the managerial decision. Once we understand the features of managerial economics, for better understanding, we should know how to differentiate the traditional economics with managerial economics. So here I have given number of points. Based on that, you can see the table. What are the factors that we are considering in the second column, and how managerial economics is using and how it is in the traditional economics. The first factor that we are considering is nature. As far as the managerial economics is concerned, it is basically micro in nature. But if in case of traditional economics, it is not only micro but also the macro. So that is why it is both micro and macro in nature. That is the traditional economics. When we consider the approach as a factor for making a differentiation between the managerial economics and traditional economics, it adopts a normative approach. But traditional economics use both positive and normative approaches. This is the second difference. The third difference is the factors of production that we are considering. Actually, there are 4 factors of production: land, labor, capital, and organization. But the managerial economics deals only with the one factor of production called organization. But if you see the traditional economics, it deals all the factors of production such as land, labor, capital, and organization. The fourth differentiation, it's related with the third one. It's a corollary. The remuneration from the factors of production. As it considers only the organization, it involves only with the profit. But in case of traditional economics, as it includes all the factors of production, so it will consider all the remuneration of the factors of production like rent, wage, interest, and profit. That is, for land, we have to pay the rent. For labor, we have to pay the wage. And for capital, we have to pay the interest. And out of organization, we can earn the profit. This is a very main, it's considered to be the main difference between these two. Let's move to the next difference about the content of the subject. The managerial economics include only the practical aspects of the economics for the business. But it is not in case of traditional economics, because as it includes not only the theory, but also the practical aspects of the economics. Then the next factor that we are considering is what are the concepts that have been included. In managerial economics, we are not only considering the economic concept, but also the non-economic concept. That is why it includes both economic and non-economic concepts. But in case of traditional economics, it considers only the economic concept. The next difference is the subject. It includes many topics from other subjects which are very useful for the business practices. But in case of traditional, it consists only the economic theories and practices. The next difference is about the aim. The aim of the managerial economics is to make an effective decision in business. That is the only purpose. But in case of traditional, the aim of the economics is to attain the development and growth of nation and betterment of economic agents like other economic, macroeconomic variables, employment generation, better standard of living, like that. Then the next difference is about the optimization. The main object of managerial economics is to maximize the profit or minimize the cost. This is the main object. But in case of traditional economic, the main object of economic is a social welfare, and how we have to take some developmental activity in order to better economy, how to attain the better economy. Finally, this is the last difference about the scope. The scope is very limited for managerial economic because it has been a few decades back, but the scope of traditional economics is very wide because as it deals with all economic issues. Apart from the above mentioned differences, there are many other differences between managerial economics and traditional economics. For example, economics had its own origin from several centuries back, while managerial economics started only with a few decades back. Generally, a specialist with a managerial economics is called manager, administrator, or businessman, or entrepreneur, whereas the specialist of economics is called economist. So the economist is different from the businessman because economist will give the advice, but businessman will do the practice. So there is a possibility to have a section B question in this because distinguish between managerial economics and traditional economics. Now let us move to the next topic called role of managerial economics in the business. The managerial economics guides the manager in business as it is developed for the purpose of making an effective decision-making process in business or corporate world. This subject is mainly derived from microeconomics for conducting the business within the focus and some macroeconomic concepts also included, mainly to deal with the external environment in the business. So micro for the internal, macro for the external. By using the required concept both in economics and other subjects which are related with the business practices. Normally, the role of manager is divided into three categories. What are they? Normally, they will see the general duties. The second one is the specific duties. And the third one is the business responsibilities. The routine and day-to-day affair of a business are categorized under general duty. It is categorized as a general duty. Day-to-day, what we are going to do, that is a general duty. But sometimes the special tasks is decided by the management, which are categorized under special duties. Whereas all the other work is considered as a business work. There are some routine work, there are some specific work. Apart from these two, what are all the work is there, then it is considered to be the general responsibilities. Instead of mentioning the work of the manager into the general, specific, or business responsibilities, the role of manager in business can be expressed in a following manner. See, this is a very beautiful concept. If you concentrate, definitely it's easy to write it. There are 13 prescribed functions for a manager extracted from managerial economics. The key is applicable for all the discipline. However, it is up for the managerial economics to specify the role of manager. The key word of managerial economics is ACT, Act. An instruction to the manager, which is present in all the key factors of the management and administrative business. The business economy relies on 4 factors of production: land, labor, capital, and the organization. So the factor is having ACT. You can see the factors of production, that particular word is having ACT. These 4 are called factors of production. What are they? Land, labor, capital, and organization. With the help of these 4 factors only, the manager should start the production of the product, where they have to manufacture. You can see a light, a bureau, or a pen. What are all the things you are seeing? They are manufactured. So the next best duty of a manager is to make the product. So the second role is manufacturing. Once he or she needs to manufacture a product, it demands the place to produce. Where we can produce? Factory. See the word FACTORY. ACT is there. The purpose of manufacturing the product in a factory is to transact. You can see the word TRANSACT. Transacting the manufactured product in a factory must be up to the expectation of the consumer. How we can call it? It is called customer satisfaction. See the spelling? SATISFACTION. ACT is there. In order to know the expectation of the consumer, the manager should reach the consumer. How we can reach? Through his contact. CONTACT. ACT also there. After understanding the requirement of the consumer, it is the duty of the manager to enter into a legal binding with the supplier and the distributor, all the stakeholders. How they will have the legal binding? Called contract. CONTRACT. Here also ACT is there. After the production and distribution of the product, a manager should know the feedback from the customer, whether the product is good or not, in order to improve or expand the business. So he should know what is the impact for the product to the consumer. See the spelling? IMPACT. For the purpose of endorsing the parties related to the business, the manager should proceed with the work called enact. ENACT. It is a duty of the manager to maintain the quality of the product by initiating the legislation called act. All the legislation, we end with the act. By keeping the accounts of the business and sharing the essence of the business report, how we can prepare? We should prepare an abstract. There's a statement. What are the expenditure? What are the income? How it is categorized? Whether it is a liability or asset, we should know. So there should be an abstract should be prepared. The overall governance of the business depends on a particular deal called interact. As a businessman, you should interact with all the stakeholders, which may pave way for innovating a new strategies and policies to the business. So how we can get? After knowing all these things, we should practice in a good manner. PRACTICE. See, that's why the words are bold. ACT. That is a key word to know what is the role of manager. Therefore, the role of manager starts before the handling the raw material, that is factors of production, and it is the end with the sales service of the product, a new business practice. In other way, the manager's work starts from forecasting the demand of the product before it has been produced, and it ends with the maintaining the customer who is receiving the finished product. So the following table, if you see, it portrays what is the role and responsibilities of the manager. Here also I have given 3 columns. The second column shows what kind of act that they are doing. Factors of production. This factors of production in MBA or a BCom, it is called business economics for decision making. What is the role of the manager there? Dealing with the land, labor, capital, and organization. So his role to deal with all the factors of production. Then the second role is manufacture. In your curriculum, it is called materials management. You should know materials management. Why we have to study the material management? Dealing with the material handling, that is raw material, semi-finished products, or finished product. The third role is in the factory. In your curriculum, it is called production management, dealing with the production process and production layouts and other type of, whichever type of the industry. It may be small scale, or it may be large scale, or it may be essential commodity, whichever be. So we should know the production management. Then the satisfaction. Of course, there are n number of subjects are dealing with these people. These subjects are taken as an elective paper, like Six Sigma, Total Quality Management (TQM), and Supply Chain Management. So these are the subject in MBA and BCom. And why we have to study this? Dealing with the quality control measure from production process to distribution process. Then about the transact, we should learn the marketing management. So dealing with the supplier, distributor, and the other stakeholders, we should know what are the concepts involved in marketing management. Then contact. Contact is nothing but human resource management. So dealing not only with the customer, but also with the employees. Because the company which is having a good human resource management, definitely long run survival will be there, and there will be enough improvement in the business. Then the legal one, that is contract, business law, Indian Contract Act, all these things, it is your subject. We should know as a manager, you should know this. Why? We have to deal with the legal issues and other statutory provisions. Then the most important is impact. It is called strategic management in MBA and BCom, dealing with a new method and strategies for improving the business. Then, of course, enact. There are a number of legislation relating to the industry, like Industrial Development Act, Industrial Dispute Act, Essential Commodities Act. Number of acts are there. Even Gratuity Act and Employee number of legislations are there. So dealing with the employee and completion of legal formalities like industrial approval or industrial license, we should know this. And next one is act, as I said earlier, legal system. We should know how to prepare, how to register the company, what are the things to be prepared to give public notice, how to file the returns, how to prepare memorandum, how to prepare articles of association, all these things, it is coming under this. Abstract, it's nothing but the final accounts, financial accounts and management accounts we should learn. So it will be one of the subject in your curriculum. Dealing with bookkeeping accounts for the purpose of auditing, which includes financial management and corporate accounts, maintenance, all these things. Interact, of course, another subject called CRM, customer relationship management and business communication. So when you study this particular subject, you can interact better. Dealing with a customer, conducting a market survey, or how to conduct a demand forecasting survey, both in existing product or a new product. Finally, all these 12 should be practiced. The business organization rely on the practice only. We have to know what are all the good practices. So system management for materials and production, planning, organization, staffing, directing. So as a manager, you should know these subjects. That is why your particular degree having all these subjects. So when I say as a manager, what are the things you should know? So these are the subjects, right from business economics, material management, production management, total quality management, Six Sigma, supply chain management, marketing management, HRM, business law, strategic management, legal system for manager, financial accounts, management accounts, customer relationship management, business communication, and business organization and management. So these are the subjects in your curriculum. So as a manager, you should know all these subjects. Then let me move to the next thing. What is the purpose of the managerial economics? Mainly, it deals only with the decision-making process. Why this subject is framed? In order to take an effective decision in a business. So the need of the hour for any manager is to take an effective decision for the current business problem. So the problem may be a variety of things. Depending upon that particular circumstances, that we should take some decision. Future is uncertain, and we expect to set an outcome from a decision making, but it may result, we should not result in opposite way. Therefore, we should adopt a process of decision making. Some scientific method we should use. We cannot take any ad hoc decision. So there should be some system which will start from sorting the number of alternative action and finally take a decision. How? There are 4 different stages. First, we should know what are all the alternative courses of action available. Number of alternative for giving solution for a problem. Option 1, option 2, option 3, option 4, like that. Out of the list of option, we should select a particular alternative which is feasible, economical, and right decision. So here only, out of that different alternative, we should choose the best. After taking a decision, we should execute the decision. How to execute? By choosing a course of action which is to be implemented. Finally, the result of the action made. So there is a 3 possible outcome of your decision. The full realization of objective. If you take a decision, it is perfect, then it is full realization. Sometimes some 1 or 2 negative points will be there. So it is called partial realization of the objective. But if you take a wrong decision, problem is negative effective is more, positive less, mean then we have to say non-realization of objectives. That is why the decision-making process in 4 stages. First, we should know what are the alternatives available for the problem, solution for the problem. Then out of list of alternative, you should choose the best one. And after choosing the best one, we should frame some a course of action, and we have to implement that. After implementing, whether that is right decision or not, we have to evaluate. So this is called decision making process. You can expect a section A question. Sometimes they may ask to explain in detail in a section B also. So with this, we are completing the introductory part of managerial economics. So I have just summed up what we discussed in the first unit. The managerial economics is a new branch of traditional economics. The second one, what we understand, it is an integration of economic theory with the business practices. It is applied economics. It is not arts, it's a science. So what are the keywords that we should know in this particular chapter is, we should know the definition of the managerial economics. What is the definition? Managerial economics is an integration of economic theory with the business practices. Then decision-making process. This is another important question, a keyword. It is a process of collecting, analyzing, selecting, and implementing the best option out of the available alternative in a business situation. And one more keyword is called forward planning. If you see the definition of Milton Spencer and Siegelman, it is an integration of economic theory with the business practices for the purpose of decision making and forward planning. Forward planning means is to minimize the uncertainties that which may occur in the future. So here I have given a list of possible questions from this unit. They may ask the definition of managerial economics, and you should know what is the meaning of managerial economics. And sometimes they may ask whether it is micro in nature or not, or what is the nature of managerial economics. Then one more section A possible is what is decision making and who is the manager. These are the possible section A question may ask in the. As far as section B is concerned, we should know how to write about the managerial economics. And most important question is distinguish between managerial economics and traditional economics. But only possible section C is what is the role of manager, or what are the role and responsibilities of the managerial economist. With this, I'm completing this particular unit. Tomorrow, we can see the second unit, that is nature and scope of managerial economics. Thank you all of you for watching this particular video. Kindly make a comment on it. And your feedback is welcome. We'll meet in the next class. Thank you.